Hi there, and thank you for watching. I'm so happy you are here today with me. I am showing you all my trees in my art journal, and at the end of the video I'm also revealing a new project that I'm working on right now. So make sure you watch it till the end. I will also give you some options how to integrate trees into your art journal. And the first one is painting a landscape with trees in it. So these are some of my favorite beech trees. They are standing in the dunes of Castricum, Bakkam. And I created these ones in 2022. And I also did a little writing, and I think it's interesting to translate that for you. Like how I wander through the woods, the forest, and sing to the trees and felt their energies everywhere, and how everything stepped aside for me as if everything suddenly embraced me and went crystal clear as a deep yes, I want to on everything. That I now feel the strength, that confidence, it's coming back, but it's not coming from the air. It's not coming out of nothing. It really requires work. And I know I'm never done with that work. What I love about painting a landscape is that you can work with a direction. So your eyes start with this point, for example, then it goes to this, to the bone, to the tree that's in front. And that's a very, very nice thing. And it's the suggestion comes by working diagonally. So that's a very nice thing to have a smaller tree in the back and a larger one that's also, well, not fitting into the page. That's also suggesting kind of depth. What I've also done is adding a little leaf from the tree. So that's also a tip that you can, well, collect some leaves. Now it's almost autumn, so it's very nice to have some leaves in your art journal. And you can glue them simply down with gel medium, and that's a very nice thing. And in the next project I will also show you what I used, other things you can use from the tree. And I want to show you the birch trees. Those are here, and this is also an older painting. I think it's from 2021, and it was a very abstract forest, tree forest, birch tree forest from trees in autumn. I can't even remember if it's from an existing image or I did it, well, from imagination. I think I did it from imagination. Another nice thing, the second tip that I'm going to give you about what to do with trees in your art journal is creating some different elements from the tree at one spread. So you see, I did paint the leaves of the birch and a bit of the branch. I also used, and that's what I mentioned yet, that you can add leaves to the page. These are painted, but you can also add the dried ones like I did with the beech tree. You can also add some trunk, well, I call it paper because from a birch tree it's really looking like paper. You can also write on it. It has two sides, like this is a dark side, there's also a lighter side, which I use very often in my art. I wanted to make a close-up from the trunk of the birch tree because the birch tree is unique in having eyes, and the eyes are, well, caused by a branch that is cut off. So actually it's a wound. So you think the tree might look at you, but it's just crying at you because it has eyes. But I think at this moment the tree has no pain anymore. But I really found it very nice to paint this. I did it with a palette knife, one of my favorite techniques. I think this is another piece of birch paper, like here, but it's very different. So it has so many different colors, and I really love that. I will show you the next page as well, because though it's not all about the birch trees anymore, there's still a birch tree print. I created a template and I printed that with the jelly plate, and I think this is it from the birch trees. Tip 3, how to integrate trees in your art journal, is creating a small image with a tree in it, like here. So here you see that tiny image that I created in this spread, on this spread. And it's just a kind of a path with to a portal of light created by trees in the sunlight. So it's very nice to just, I copied this from a photo, and I used some masking tape. It really didn't went well at all, but I really wanted to capture this image in my art journal. This was my first travel art journal, and we were in France, and this was a picture that I took on one of our walks, and it was a really wonderful view. And it could be very simple, just to have a focus in a light point, and that's also happening when you walk through the forest. You often see these kinds of portals and tunnels of trees, and it's not just one tree, it's a whole forest image. But you could also go for a little tree in just one tree, tiny tree on a page, which is filled with collage items. This is something I wanted to show you, because when I was working on this page, this particular leaf was falling onto my desk, so I painted it first and then I glued it down. So that's another option for dried leaves, how you can use that for a collage. I thought it was funny to show you this one too, because these were the cats of friends of us, and they were all sitting in this tree. And it's a walnut tree. So tip 4 is to create a fantasy tree, for example, with a face. I often see faces in trees, and not just with birch trees, but also with other trees. This was the tree standing on the same place as I showed you with the cats, and I saw really a face in that tree. And when I looked at it at another moment of the day, I think this was in the morning, and when I looked at it in the afternoon, I saw another face, because the light was shining in a different way on the tree. So there were other shadows and lights. So it was a really amazing tree. I think I painted it later on too, but I will show you that in another art journal. Here you can see another tree, and it's a small one, and I painted it next to this printed leaf, and it's from a paper mulberry tree, and it has a very nice leaf. I think this is a smaller one of it, and it's almost looking like a French lily. It's a very decorative leaf. I plucked some of these leaves, and they all turned out to be differently. And maybe I have another one here. No, this is just the other side of the paper. So another fantasy tree, another small fantasy tree in this art journal. Tip 5 is to create a tree in a specific season. So this is definitely a winter tree. So you see on this page, I definitely created a winter tree, but here are still some leaves left from the autumn. They're all painted, And well, it's kind of a bare page because I really wanted to give it the effect of winter, and everything is bare and there are no leaves, there's snow. The trunk is, well, I didn't draw the full tree, so you won't see the snow on the ground. Here could be a note. I haven't written something on this, but well, maybe I will write a winter poem or something there. But it's very nice to create a tree. I think I created this one with ink and with a white Posca pen to do the snow. And then I could be more accurate. So it was a very nice page to work on. So it's an option to do also a tree in spring, a block of a tree, an area with the same tree in spring, in summer, in autumn, and in winter. I haven't done that yet, but it's one of my plans for the next art journal. And maybe it will also be an assignment for my weekly students. Here I have a wonderful tree, which is also very, well, very simple. And this is very nice canvas to work on, and it leaks through the page sometimes. So you see colors appearing on the same page, and it were all kind of 3 pages after another, and so it's kind of a continuation story with trees. This is, well, just color experiments, and this was actually a color experiment too. But then I saw these tree shapes. I think I worked it out with a small pencil, but I don't know it anymore because it's been a while that I've been working on this page. Yeah, so you can make an easy landscape with just some, well, basic tree shapes, and then you can already see a tree in it. Like this is very illustrative, and this too, very simple trees. They're not like how they are in reality, but it can be very, well, very nice to do this and to fill up a landscape, a pattern landscape in this case. This is me actually standing, well, with my most favorite tree in town where I live. They have an estate. It used to be a castle. They call it a castle, but it's more like a land house, and it's a really wonderful place, and it has a huge park around it, and there are 2 red beech trees, the same as the one I started with. And this is my favorite strength tree. I will come back to this tree later on because she will appear several times in my art journals later on. But first, I show you some winter trees. That I've been creating in Spain, and it was a very special place because we went to El Santillo, which was an old mine city, and it was just ruins, but there was a beautiful sunset, and the trees, it was just like they had blossoms, but they were just pink clouds. And here you see a bit of the ruin. You also see here that they are bare, and here too. But here it was just like there was blossom in it. It had the same color. And I think there's nothing more with trees in this art journal. This is another vase in a tree, and it's a fancy tree. I created this with a thick roller technique. Also, I think I used the palette knife, and I called it the heart tree. It's also having a door which can open, and I will continue with another one that you might already seen, but this one is having a little heart door, and you can see the leaves aren't leaves, they are hearts as well. So this is a heart page. Hartje means heart, little heart in Dutch. And here's a heart pattern. And well, here are no hearts anymore. But it's a page that I created in France, which was really wonderful to create. I think this was it for this art journal. Let's see. I think I have another winter tree in this one. So I will look that up for you. Yeah, this one. So this was a tree inspired by an artist, and she was called Nicole Guillen. And I bought a little painting of her too, and this tree was a bit inspired by that painting. I will grab that one for you. So this is a tree that she painted with watercolor, and after that she used enamel, and she used lava stone to put it in as a frame. So it's a really wonderful object. And we were having a walk, and we saw many of her art along the road, because people had their house number, their address, their family name. They were all painted by her. So it was a very good business that she had with creating all these kinds of things. And she showed us around in a beautiful studio, and I was very inspired. Normally I am not into watercolor painting, but because of the enamel, it showed up. It turned out so beautifully. So I had to buy something from her. Then I have my winter journal from last year that turned out to be an inner art journal, and there are some trees popping up. You can see already now that it's a very favorite theme of mine. Here is a little blossom tree, which is spreading the blossoms all over the page. And here you can see the 80-year-old olive tree from our Dutch friends, Roel and Petra. They have it in the garden. And it was wounded. It had, I think, a kind of insect in it. And they tried to fix that. And I hope that went well, because it's a very, very, very powerful tree. And this was the lemon tree. And what I found very surprising about that is that it's blossoming and having fruit at the same time. So that's a wonderful thing. So what we've done here, that could also be a tip. I haven't made a note of that, but this is also an extra tip for you. This is a tip. You can create a recipe with something that's coming out of the tree. For example, when you have chestnuts, put in a wonderful chestnut recipe, or do something with blossoms, make your lemonade, and then you can have all your steps how to create that next to the tree that you have painted. So that's an extra tip. And in this book, I also shown that one already in a previous video. It's a fig tree. Where's the fig tree? This is a fig tree, and that's a bit of a fantasy tree, which is also, very, we mentioned that you can use a fantasy tree for everything. It's just nice to have it on a page, and it's a bit of a combination, because I also drawn the fig, or painted the fig, and added this sticker from the fig jam that Roel and Petra created. It was delicious. And then we have some more trees here. This was, again, my favorite beech tree, the red beech. And I created this one with gouache. So I wanted to test out some new techniques, because I wanted to start a new project. And here I have another one, and that's kind of a jelly print. And I did this with the transfer method that I also showed you in a couple of YouTube videos ago. So that's also a very nice way. If you have a nice image from a tree, you can simply transfer it to your art journal page. Tip 6 is to create a tree with doors and windows, and also think about who is living in the tree. And I know I've shown this page before, but it was definitely the favorite page out of this book composition, so I will show it once more. So in this image you can see some trees, some in the distance and some in front. I think it's a beech tree too, and the leaves are already turning orange. I don't know what's happening exactly to the red beech tree. They start in spring as very tiny red leaves, and then in summer they turn a bit into green. And I don't know what will be happening in autumn, and I don't know if they are having the same colors as in this tree. But the assignment was to create a tree and have some doors that could open and close, and maybe windows too. I did only the door. And then on the next page, paint the inside of the home. These tree houses are a bit inspired by the photos created by Lars van der Goor, who was a dear friend of us. So I wanted to dedicate this project to him. And as he is also a cat lover, I wanted to do something with the cat house. And they have to be in this envelope, and you can remove them. But I've already shown you that in a previous video, so I won't do that game again. But here is the cat house, and you can see on the inside, you can still see it's a tree trunk, which isn't really matching these kinds of trees, because this is, of course, coming from the birch trees. But I really wanted to have that as a kind of wallpaper. I think the cats would like that. So a fantasy tree is a very nice thing to do. And of course, this is kind of a fantasy tree too. It's based on a realistic tree, but it's really like, well, something that is from imagination. Tip 7, my final tip, is to create a tree based on a guided meditation. For this assignment, I created my own meditation. Maybe I put it online once, but I don't know yet. But this is all the symbols that came up by painting after that visualization or guided meditation. So this tree is an oak tree, and I drawn it by imagination. From imagination, and I wanted to integrate all the symbols that were coming up during that visualization. So that was a very weird thing, because in the visualization there was something falling out of the tree, and in my case it were bananas. So I found it a little strange to give an oak tree bananas that were falling down. So I created a little tiny book or flap out to show the bananas. There were also matches here falling out of the trees. This was a message that I heard. Whatever happens, it will be all right. Follow your heart. And there need to be a word heart, but I don't know where the word heart has been. It's follow your, and that's it. So there was also some yarn falling out of the tree. Here you can see that. Oh, here is the heart. Whatever happens, follow your heart. I'm very glad that's still there. Maybe I have to glue that down. Now that you've seen all my trees that I've been creating throughout the years in art journals, I was having some wonderful experiences with my cousin who visited the Netherlands a couple of months ago. And we were hugging the trees like I did here. And I often do that myself, and I hear words, I hear the tree talking to me. Sounds a little weird, but if you really pay attention to what you feel when you are with a tree, you can feel a particular part of your body, or you can just, well, decipher some messages that are really important. And my cousin and I, we were walking through the park, through the dunes, and we hugged the trees so often, and we received so many wonderful messages. And that when she was home in Sweden again, she asked me, do you want to work on a special deck, an oracle deck about trees? And I said, yes, directly, of course. And well, our intention is to bring together a deck of 33 cards with trees, trees that are in Western Europe, America, Western Northern Europe. So the trees that are standing here and are right in front of us when we have a walk. And I started with the first card that we want to have in the game, and we will also suggest what it means, but our advice is mainly to listen to the tree yourself. And this is the first tree I've been working on, and that's of course the red birch tree. And I will add some pictures working on that tree. It was a very hot summer day, and it was really nice to work on it. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I also hope that you enjoy my new project. And this is already the beach, and I don't know what will be the next tree. Maybe you have any suggestion which tree that could be. Let me know in the comments. And also maybe you can tell me what's your favorite tree. That's the hidden question of this video. And well, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss the next video. I see you then. Bye bye.